This film was part of Lohan's creative partnership with Netflix, under which she also executive produced the project. Our little secret follows Avery, who is Lindsay Lohan, who is spending her first Christmas with her boyfriend's family, but discovers, dun dun dun, her ex is also part of the holiday festivities and decides to hide their romantic history. Production began in Atlanta in January of 2024 and concluded late in the following month. It was released on the streaming service on November 27th, 2024, and the film received mixed reviews. This is I think the second of the ones she's done for Netflix. I had a brief urge to talk about holiday. I think Irish Kiss. Have you seen that one, Mick?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, this was the talk of the town in spring. Jesse, did Mindy make you watch Irish Kiss?
No, I didn't even know it existed.
Oh yeah, it's another one of these Lindsay Lohan romantic comedies she's done for Netflix just this year alone. So I was trying to convince Neil and Chris to review it, and apparently one of them doesn't like. I think it's Chris doesn't like rom-coms.
She did another Christmas related rom-com. It was a year or two ago where she got amnesia and falls in love with a guy, and then turns out, the time she got amnesia, she was engaged to somebody. But anyway, I did watch that one. I was part of that one, there recently.
That is how I get girls to fall in love with me, Jesse. I punch them in the fucking head until they
knock them out. Give them amnesia. Give them a little brain damage.
Yeah, when they wake up, I clean the drool out of their mouth and go, and they go, her, and they love it.
Like you're married.
Lobotomy.
Lobotomy you, lobotomy, lobotomy everybody. That was Fedorian. All right. So let's get into this. Was this one that was on your list of things to watch, or this is one where you wanted to talk about Hot Frosty, and this one you're doing at gunpoint?
I actually didn't know. I've never heard of it until this triple feature, and so I mean, I had no reservations for it. Like, I guess I didn't feel one way or the other, is what I'm saying. Gotcha. But I did enjoy it.
Okay. I'll come back. We'll round back, get your full thoughts. Jesse, did you know about this one? You said you didn't watch it with Mindy beforehand.
No, this is the one where I walk in and there's like 8 minutes left of this thing. I said, "What's the movie you're watching?" Because I noticed it was Lindsay Lohan was in this thing, and I'm like, "Oh crap, I'm supposed to watch that." So, as a trooper, she did shut it off, and she waited probably about a week and a half to 2 weeks before we went back and watched it. And she watched all of it with me. But I knew of the Lindsay Lohan Christmas movies because probably scrolling through Netflix, I had seen it, so I didn't have any inclination to watch it or anything like that. But yeah, that's kind of where I was. I was not going to watch this unless I had to.
I think of the three that we're talking about, this is the most Hallmarky of these movies. Like, this is
okay.
From what I know of Hallmark Christmas movies, not like I've watched a bunch, I think this one, like Hot Frosty, is just so over the top silly that it might be going for the Hallmark thing, but I actually think it's more than that. And then Dear Santa is nothing like a Hallmark Christmas movie at all. This one, I think, comes the closest to like the Hallmark Christmas romance movie.
Oh, and very much based, in something that could potentially happen in reality.
Sure, absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right. So the plot of this thing is Lindsay Lohan and Ian Harding are childhood sweethearts, and over the course of their early life, at some point, Lindsay Lohan's mom dies. It affects her. It affects her father. It affects her desire to live in the United States. And because these are successful white people, she gets a job offer to go work in London. And she's like, you know what? Opportunity, travel. I don't have to stay here and confront the death of my mother any longer. I don't have to watch my father descend into madness. I'm going. And Ian Harding, like every other boyfriend, is just like, what the fuck? Like, wait, what about me? Am I not important in all of this? Am I not a thing? And she was like, no, you are not. So at a going away party, he tries to woo her with marriage, and it goes as you might suspect.
He did not try to woo her. That was a bad. That guy said some really stupid things. I think alcohol was involved as well.
Yeah, for sure.
He proposed marriage to her, and it went, and she did not accept, and then he went out of his mind.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, So 10 years passes. So she goes to London. 10 years passes, and now they are both with other people. Now they are both back, and unbeknownst to each other, they are dating siblings. He's dating a girl, she's dating a guy, and they are all coming home for Christmas holiday. We are introduced to Kristen Chenoweth, who's kind of like, upper class, white, snooty, exhausting woman. And she is like just the high matriarch of this family. Don't fuck with this lady; she'll beat you to death. And we have a henpecked husband, and we have Cody Rhodes as the younger brother. And he is quite the American nightmare. Yes. And Jesse, he's quite the American nightmare, huh? Bang, bang.
Oh boy.
All right. Mick's like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I'm just gonna sit here and smile.
Perfect. Anyway, once they realize what's happening, Lindsay Lohan's like, look, we're trying to both make a good impression here, and I'm already like pissing this mom off. Maybe let's not tell her. This will be weird. And he's like, anything for you, sweetie. I just want to make you happy. That's his whole character. So from that point on in the movie, just stuff happens. There's a bit where Lindsay Lohan. It's a lot of like quasi cringe humor. Where, oh no, Lindsay Lohan accidentally took gummies. Oh no, Lindsay Lohan ate all the cookies she was told not to eat. Oh no! This just goes on and on and on and on until finally the cat's out of the bag, and it's like a lot of it's like the secret of my success. Everyone's just standing around and somebody yells, "All right, the sexual revolution is over. Everybody out of the bed." He got the dad who was caught cheating on Kristen Chenoweth. And their neighbors are family neighbors are Tim Meadows and his wife, and the dad's cheating on with Tim Meadows' wife. Other stuff I think comes out. The son, the youngest son, who I keep calling Cody Rhodes, like blackmails Lindsay Lohan into like doing his dirty work for him, stuff like that. That comes out. So it's a whole mess. Somewhere in all of this, Lindsay Lohan's dad is selling the house and decides to give it to Lindsay Lohan, or like sell it to her for cost. And
he must really love her.
We love our children. So over the course of the movie, she does confront the death of her mother. There is a thing between her and the boyfriend about it. It just sort of happens. There's not a lot of prompting that goes into it, but eventually she. With the kind of getting past the thing with the mom and being given the house, she decides she's going to live in the house. She's going to stay in the States. Because everything kind of blew up, the boyfriend and his current girlfriend break up. Lindsay Lohan's boyfriend cheated on her as well, so they break up. And at some point, Lindsay Lohan and the mom make up, but also Lindsay Lohan tries to make amends by getting the Ian Harding's character a gig with Tim Meadows, which is, a really nice, profitable thing. And there's like a somewhat small character arc that gets paid off with that for him. By the end of the movie, they are going to be married, or they are married. They are living in the house, and all's well that ends well. So that's more or less our little secret. Mick, what did you think of this?
So,
well said.
Thank you. that was my review.
What did you think of this movie? All righty. Here's Santa.
I agreed that it was definitely more of the Hallmarky kind of style out of all three of these. That's like true Hallmark. But I also felt like the story was definitely something that could happen. Like, especially when you grow up with someone that long and then you kind of start dating because you've been with each other for so long. It makes sense that she would just leave and be like, bye. Because if she has that heartbreak with losing her mom, then she's not going to know what to do. And she doesn't want to lean on someone who she's been with the entire time. Kind of finding herself, I suppose.
Sure.
But I felt like this movie had a bunch of secondhand embarrassment that almost, it wasn't like cringy. It was just, you're sitting there like gripping your knuckles because it's just not.
How are you going to get out of this one? Oh,
right?
you're gonna have to do something.
Especially the vet.
Yeah, the dog and the veterinarian situation. I was like, oh, she's done for now, right? And no, she figured out a way out of it.
No, the vet was just like, as long as you pay for it.
Right.
But where's she getting that money? She must have a really good job.
She's rich.
Oh yeah, she has a high-paying job in London.
But that's the exact thing. That's the exact same thing that went through my mind.
Yeah, she has a job doing middle-aged white girl stuff. You know, as we all aspire to be. You know, middle-aged, high-paid white women.
That's what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Following one of the most truest Hallmark tropes, having the job-forward businesswoman, middle-aged, or not middle-aged, but like millennial.
Yeah.
And then coming home.
Dad, I made good.
I thought their relationship at the end was kind of sweet. It was definitely predictable. As soon as like they saw each other at that party, you knew.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I thought it was funny. I thought it was well thought out, and there was enough stuff in between that it's not something like a huge complex plot, but it's enough to.
Yeah,
it's enough to make your heart warm.
I agree. It is a heartwarming movie that makes your heart warm. Jesse, tell us about your warm heart.
Oh my goodness, it grew 3 sizes that day.
Oh God, call a doctor.
I mean, starting out with this movie, I thought the intro was really cool. Like, after the big blow up, they then show like 10 years pass, and they start showing it's like a montage of news footage and stuff that's happened between 2014 and 2024, which I thought was really cool. I think that guy was an idiot and for saying all of that stuff in front of her family. I understand alcohol was involved, but here we have Ian Harding's character Logan just going off about how she's running away. It's like, you do not say this stuff in front of not only the woman that you want to marry, but her family as well. And I was like, oh, there's no coming back from this guy. So 10 years pass, and then we have this crazy situation, which leads to more crazy situations. The dog situation that we were talking about. It's so funny because I knew she was going to blame the cookies being eaten on the dog. And I was like, are they going to gloss over the fact that these cookies probably have chocolate in them? And that becomes the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. At least they didn't like just gloss over that. It became a whole other situation. So they stuck to like, okay, what would actually really happen if something like this did occur? Her getting high at church was pretty damn funny.
That was the best.
I was entertained. I was laughing. Poor Tim Meadows and his character. I felt so bad for him, but then at the end, I think, is he the one that ends up...
And we didn't even give him a fifth sandwich. That's for Jason.
Yes, I knew that would go to Teasley. And dementia saved the day almost at one point, I was like, I don't know if that's a good joke. We shouldn't be using this poor lady's frail, mental health and mental state as something as a plot twist for this movie or a plot development. Anyway, I had a good time. I think as entertaining, Jack Black, as we get into the next one, I think has his own space in my heart. But I will say that I was laughing quite a bit during Our Little Secret. And, I kind of knew this is one where I didn't think I would like those two at the beginning getting back together. And I don't know if it's just a situation where it's like, this guy overstepped his bounds 10 years ago. I don't know if I'd be giving this dude a second chance, but I think that's the whole point of the film. It's second chance romance. Let's all dance. All right, I'm done.
He has a line in this movie. It's my favorite line of this entire movie. It is. We're literally talking about these in the order in which I like these movies. I like Hot Frosty the best. I like Our Little Secret after that, and I have thoughts about Dear Santa. But he has a line, and it's the best line of any of these movies. And it's like, I knew I was doomed from the moment I met you. And I fucking died. I laughed out loud. And I was like, because I was kind of in and out of the movie, especially because I watched it like 6 o'clock this morning. That cracked me up. And it does kind of speak to the nature of romance. Romance isn't always logical. In fact, it oftentimes isn't. And it's like, you just you fall for somebody, and there's something about them, both positive and negative, where you can't break free of their spell, but you also know that they're trouble, and they're just gonna cause you some hurt. But that's
Jackie.
okay, you know. Wasn't gonna name her by name.
I didn't say anything. That's clear in my throat.
Okay. Get me in trouble is what you're gonna do. Look, naked swimming can only solve so many of my problems, Jesse.
Oh.
But yeah, you know, sometimes you can't help who you fall in love with, and you know, and if they're trouble on top of that, you know, God, life's full of adventures. So I did enjoy that chemistry between him and Lindsay Lohan. Robert and I talked about this rather recently. The reason, especially when we did the 10 worst movies of the year so far on streaming, we don't do a lot of comedy on here because modern comedy seems to be either gross or it's all awkward cringe humor. It's, oh no, you know, this happened and it's awkward and people aren't behaving like humans and isn't that funny? And it, going all the way back to when I was a kid, I used to watch in syndication the 70s show Three's Company, where the premise of that show is that it's the 70s and John Ritter lives with 2 beautiful women, and the apartment manager doesn't want hanky-panky going on in his apartments, and so John Ritter has to be gay in order for this to work. And I want to stress it's the 70s, so so whenever Mr. Furley or Mr. Roper are around, Jack has to, you know, act very flamboyantly gay in order to sell it. And so Three's Company was just a lot of that humor, a lot of awkward, cringy. Oh no, Jack has to act gay in a situation where he's not. Oh no, you know, Chrissy fell in the bathtub. So it's that kind of thing. And even though I watched that as a kid, for whatever reason, it definitely colored the way I view and feel about comedy to where I fucking hate it. I hate cringy, awkward humor. I think for the same reason I react this way to horror, I don't particularly enjoy feeling uncomfortable. And that kind of humor, things that are gross and being scared out of my pants, all of which make me uncomfortable, and I don't like it. And I've tried to, you know, up until I met these psychos, I was avoiding it, and then they made me review all these crazy movies, and now I'm dead inside. Anyway, so
you love us.
Some of you. Anyway, that being said, that's like 90% of this fucking movie is that kind of stuff. So it was a hard watch for me. Thankfully, they don't lean too far into it. Like, you know, Lindsay Lohan eating the plate of cookies in a fugue state, it seemed like, and then waking up, oh no, I've eaten all the cookies. Like, the fuck? You know, like, I was warned not to do this. That's the whole joke. And they fixed it fast enough. You know, like the vet stuff isn't so over the top awful. You know, it's not like there's something about Mary or anything like that. Like, they get out of it pretty cleanly.
Right.
There's a couple of more jokes like that throughout the movie where I could start to feel the awkwardness and the uncomfortableness, and then they would get away from it again. Like, oh, thank God. I think Kristen Chenoweth is the star of this movie. She's fucking she's awesome in this. Like, she's such an awful human being.
Yes.
You know,
she's the best.
She plays such a dick. And honestly, it was the most fun performance in the thing.
I love the paintings.
Oh yeah,
that throughout, you know, and she's not even like, you know, she's not even on screen other than she's in the painting, and you know how much character that help, you know, that supports what she's like, because every single painting she does not change whatsoever. Like she's a damn vampire or some shit. She's she's just every painting she looks exactly the same. But yeah, she is a great actress.
Yeah.
Well, if you notice, each painting had a haloing effect over her.
Yes,
which shadowed
she was the brightest one on
there.
She
was always brighter than everyone. That's right.
Yes,
good stuff. Yeah, she's the best part of this movie for me. Lindsay Lohan's fine. She's perfectly serviceable in her role. She's actually a likable person despite her flaws, which is which is for especially this kind of movie, halfway decent character writing. Like, I don't find myself ever rooting against her. She's not so twatty and awful that I'm like, good, I hope you wind up miserable and alone with a bunch of cats. She's actually somebody who I want to see find love. I want to see her get her shit together and be rewarded with a fulfilled life with friends and family that love her, which is nice for a fucking change. But my actual favorite character besides Kristen Chenoweth just on performance is Ian Harding as Logan. Your bro is my fucking spirit animal, man. Like, this is a guy who's just trying to do right by the people he loves and is just jumping over hurdles and diving under fences, and he's trying so hard. Like, I know you're like, oh, he made a rude comment 10 years ago at a party. Oh my God. Sorry, we're not all as perfect as the Starcher family, but
I think another
trying.
Okay. And I think one of the other like nitpicky things that I have with movies that are kind of like this, now, granted, you could make an argument that this is a Christmas movie, I think, because of, number one, you got the families getting together, and as families get together, right, it does get a bit difficult sometimes. But I do not like Christmas breakup movies to get other people together. That just bothers me. Like, even though these guys were totally wrong for each other, I guess, it's a situation where it's just like, okay, at the end of this, not everybody lives happily ever after. They try to make it seem like at least Tim Meadows goes off with Erica, which I sincerely doubt that dude's happy to this day. That character Tim Meadows plays rolling away with Erica in tow. No, thank you. But I don't like situations where it takes kind of like a difficult relationship to get to the end of this, where we're back to kind of like where we started, but. That's just me.
I'm willing to go with you in this one place. The girl who's dating Ian Harding didn't do anything wrong. She's kind of a dingbat, and I think the implication is that she's way young for him. But so the fuck what? If they were getting along and they light each other's fires, who cares?
Right.
She's not 17. Who gives a fuck? Like, as long as they're both consenting adults, whatever. She doesn't do anything wrong in the movie to deserve him, getting broken up with.
Right.
The boyfriend of Lindsay Lohan cheated on her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and so someone might say maybe the writing's a little uneven then. Because what they're going for at the end is these two are trying to keep a secret from what the commentary in the movie, believe it or not, is the imperfections underneath the perfect looking family. And that these well-to-do, perfectly pristine and manicured families are hiding a lot of insidious stuff. And boy, am I overusing the word insidious here? Like keeping fucking ghosts and shit in the basement, Like, it's like, put away the human sacrifice. It's Christmas. But like, clearly this family is not perfect and they have problems, but they have this veneer of all-American perfect whiteness. And I think that's the kind of like the point here is that, you don't have to hide your imperfections. These things should be out in the open, celebrated, talked about, dealt with. My only other complaint about this movie is I didn't get how Lindsay Lohan got over her mom's dying. There's a scene of her in the house with Ian Harding where she puts her head on his shoulder and they're talking, and then the scene ends, and then they don't deal with it again until the end of the movie. And by the end, and the dad just gives her the house, and she's like, "I'm over it now." I don't know how we got you over this hump. I don't remember there being a long discussion or a thing that happens in the movie that gets her past her. I mean, I guess the implication is that it was so long ago at this point that time has healed the wound.
Right.
But I think if you're going to put that in the movie, you have to address it better than that. And that would be my only quibble. And I guess if the writers were here, they'd be like, "It's a fucking Hallmark Christmas movie, you psycho!" Like we just want hot people to get together by the end of it, and there to be Christmas shit around. Fine, but as a film critic, that element of it was not particularly strong, and I need to call that out. Mik, any last thoughts about Our Little Secret, or anything I've said, or Jesse said?
That scene where she goes back to the house, like, I cried so hard.
Oh, really?
Can you talk about why?
Yeah, because moving.
Okay.
Military kid, so moving was always emotional. Even if we were doing it every once in a while, it was still like...
Never gets easier, huh?
No.
I get you. Jesse, any final words before we move on?
No, I'm ready to go on and talk about this great Jack Black film.
Blah. All right.
Mark, your thoughts. Blah.
So,